Hello and welcome. Today's lesson is going to be about solving inequalities. Solving inequalities is going to be very similar to solving equations. The only difference is instead of an equal sign, we're going to have a inequality sign that separates both sides of the inequality. We're going to follow the four steps of solving equations in solving inequalities. So here we have an inequality and we see that we have parentheses. So we're going to follow the first step, which is eliminate parentheses. We're going to take the number that is outside and we're going to multiply with the numbers that are inside the parentheses. Remember, if there's no number in front of the letter, you can put a 1 right there in front of it. Okay, so then when we multiply, 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 1y is 7y. And this 7, we bring it down. We have the inequality symbol, greater than or equal to. We bring down the 9y. 4 times 1 is 4y. And 4 times negative 10 is negative 40. So I've finished the first step, which is eliminate parentheses. Second step is to combine like terms on each side of the inequality. So on the left side, I see I can combine 7 and 7 because these two numbers don't have letter. And the 7y, I'll just bring it down. So 7 plus 7 is 14. And the 7y, I bring it down. On the other side of the equation, I see that I have 9y and 4y. So I'm going to go ahead and combine these two. So 9 plus 14 is 13y. And the negative 40, I'll bring it down. So with that, I have finished the second step, which is combine like terms. I'm ready for the third step, which is to cancel the numbers. Remember, when we're canceling the numbers, our objective is to get numbers with letters on the left and numbers without letters on the right. So when I look at this side right here, I notice 14 is in the wrong place because 14 does not have a letter. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that 14. So I'm going to subtract 14 from that side. And please remember, once you do one thing on one side, you got to do the same thing on the other side. So if this is negative 14, I need to write negative 14. Please notice also that I wrote under the 40 because 40 does not have a letter and 14 also doesn't have a letter. With that, I ask myself, is there anybody else that is in the wrong place? And 13y is in the wrong place. So therefore, let's cancel it by subtracting 13y from both sides. Now I'm ready to cancel. If you notice, 14 cancel, 13y cancels. And notice what I have. I have numbers with letters on this side, numbers with no letters on the other side. And that's exactly what I want to happen. Okay, let's perform the operation 7 minus 13. Please remember you have the decimals calculator that you can use. So anytime necessary, go ahead and use it. So 7 minus 13 is negative 6y. And on the other side, I have negative 40 minus negative 14. And I get negative 54. So I've accomplished the third step, which is cancel the numbers. And I'm ready for the final step. The final step says to divide both sides. So when I divide both sides, I divide by the number next to the letter. So in this case is negative 6. So with that, 6 cancel, negative cancels, and the y is left alone. And that's what I want to happen. Now we come to this special rule in solving inequalities. If you divide by a negative number, you must flip the inequality sign. So if you notice right here, we're dividing by a number that is negative 6 on the bottom there. So anytime you divide by a negative number, right here on the bottom, you need to flip the inequality sign. So we're going to flip the inequality sign. And now we perform the division. So we have negative 54 divided by negative 6. And we get positive 9. So that is our answer for this inequality. Now, one thing about inequality that is a little bit different about when we compare with equations is that when we solve inequalities, we usually have to graph the answer. So in this case, we're going to graph on the number line. And for the purpose of my class, we're going to draw a straight line. We're going to draw a tick mark in the middle, and then 2 tick marks to the right, 2 tick marks to the left. On the very center, you're going to put that number that you found as your answer. And then you add 2 numbers to the right. So to the right of 9 would be 10 and 11. And to the left would be 8 and 7. Now you look at an inequality sign. Okay, an inequality sign has a dash, so you know that you're going to use a solid point. So please remember, if I have a dash, it's a solid point. With no dash, it's going to be an empty point like these. Okay. Also, one of the reasons we make sure that the letters on the left is that when we get to the final answer, the inequality sign looks like the tip of the arrow. So in this case, the tip of the arrow is pointing to the left, so we know our arrow is going to go to the left, and that's going to be our graph. So our answer is all the values of y less or equal to 9. Very well. Let's go on to the next example. So here we have another example, and we have here the steps. Remember, first thing you want to do is draw that border. Remember, the inequality sign is the one that divides both sides of the inequality. Now, first step is to eliminate parentheses. So right here I have a 4. I'm going to multiply with 3 and 2. Here we have -8. I'm going to multiply with x and 1. Please remember there's an invisible 1 right there. You can add a 1 there. Also over here. So we're going to multiply those. Now, if these numbers are not attached to parentheses, then all you have to do is bring it down. So we're going to bring it down. And then -4 times 3 is -12. -4 times 2 is -8x. Greater than 8 times 1x, -8 times 1x is -8x. -8 times 1 is -8. -1 times 1x is -8x. And -8 times 5 is -40. Very well. Next step. So we finished the first step. Now the next step is combine like terms. So let's go ahead and combine 3x with -8. And then we're going to combine 4 with -12. On the other side, I have -8x minus 8x. And here I have -8, and it's going to combine with -40. Very good. Now that I have that, I can go ahead and go to the calculator and just perform the operations. So 4 minus 12. And then we also have -3 minus 8. So right there, 4 minus 12 is -8. -3 minus 8 is -11x. Greater than, and on the other side I have -8 minus 8. And I also have -8 minus 40. So -8 minus 40. And I get -16x minus 48. So I finished the second step. Now I'm ready for the third step, which is to cancel the numbers. So remember, our goal is to have the numbers with letters on this side. So therefore, -8 is in the wrong place. So to cancel it, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Also, when I look at this, 16 is in the wrong place. I'm going to add 16 to both sides in order to cancel the 16 there. Now I draw the line. The -8 cancels. The 16 cancels. I have -11 plus 16. And I get positive 5x greater than, and then I have -48 plus 8, and I get -40. So I'm done with the third step. And I'm ready for the fourth step, which is divide both sides. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. And here's the place where you need to be very careful. You need to ask, am I dividing by a negative number? And the answer is no. So therefore, the inequality sign doesn't flip. Remember, the inequality sign will only flip if you're dividing by a negative number on the bottom. So negative 40 divided by 5 is negative 8. And now that we have our answer, remember, final step is to draw a line, put a tick mark right in the middle, 2 tick marks to the right, 2 tick marks to the left. The number that we found we put right in the center. Then we ask, are we going to have an empty point or a filled point? Well, since there's no dash, it's going to be an empty point. And because the letter is on the left, then this acts like the tip of the arrow. And I know that my arrow is pointing to the right. And there we go. Oh, actually, we need to put the numbers over here on the bottom. So please remember, if it's negative numbers, they kind of count backwards. So to the right of negative 8 is negative 7, and then negative 6. And to the left would be negative 9, negative 10. So now we're finished. We have the number line, we have the arrow, we have our answer. So there we go. So this concludes our lesson for today, solving inequality. So with these two examples, I hope that you were able to now do the assignment. Please remember to solve step by step and identify your final answer, and then make sure you graph and label your number line appropriately. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.